Hi everyone. Hope you all are fit. We are here for grade 6 math. You can find all the lessons on students.com. You have to log in there, give your email address and password is provided by the institute. Then you have to select that from the subject tab, scroll down grade 6 math, and then click on the all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter persons. The lessons we're going to cover you have convert between persons, actions, and lessons. Find what person one number is of another. Persons of numbers with problems. So please should you have the book and pencil so that you can down the important example and you make sure also. Let's just start with the first lesson between yes, convert between person instructions and lessons. Let's just start with the lesson. How do you want 0.4 as a percentage? So if you write 0.4 as a percentage, so you have to multiply it by 200. 0.4 times 100 is 40%. The correct option is 40%. Let's just start with the test questions. How to write 20% as decimal? That is 20 over 100. So 20 divided by 100 is 0.3. That is 0.2. Option number one is correct. Actually. How to write 84% as a decimal? That is 84 over 100. 84 over 100 equals 0.84. Option number one is the correct option. That is 0.84. Option number one is the correct option 0.84. How to write 1/2 as a percentage? So 1/2, we have to make the denominator equal to 1/2. That is 1 over 2 times 50 is 100. So you have to do 1 times 50. That is 50 over 100. That means that equals 50%. The correct option is 50%. How do you write 0.6 as a percentage? So the correct option is yes, 60% is the correct option. And the three is the correct option, that is 60%. How do you write 83% as a fraction in simplest way? So which is the correct option, that is 83%. So 83%, which is the correct option, that is 83 over 100. Option number one is the correct. How do you write 20% as a fraction in simplest way? 20% means that is 20 over 100. So 20 times 1 is 20 and 20 times 5 is 100. That is 1 over 5, option number 2 is the correct option. How do you write 5% as a decimal? That is 5 over 100, that equals 0.5, option number 2 is the correct option. How do you write 0.9 as a percentage? That is 0.9 times 100, which is the correct option. 90% is option number 1 is the correct option. Very good. How do you write 1 by 2 as a percentage? 1 by 2 as a percentage equals 50% option, but one is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself with your video. Let me just move on to the next lesson. Okay, let's just move on to the next lesson. Percents of numbers with fractions, fractionals, and decimal percents. What is 34 whole 23 over 100% of 50? So we need to calculate 44 whole 23 by 100% of 58. So let's just convert the fractional part into decimal. 23 by 100, we can write it as 44.23 because we have two zero there. And the denominator should have two decimal places, that is 44. Now make a proportion that is n divided by 58. We need to calculate the part of 58, that is 44 to 23 by 100%. So that is the part divided by whole number, that is 58. And what percent we have to calculate, that is 25. So just solve for n, that is 25 times s. That means 58% of 24 more 23 by 100 equals 25.6. Okay, let's just start with the test questions. What is 21 whole 3 by 10% of 47? So 21 whole 21 whole 3 over 10, right? So that is 21.3%. Because the denominator has 10, so that means you need to have only one decimal place. That is 21.3. Just one of the portion, that is n divided by 77 is the whole number. Then we have to do 21.3 over 100. So just cross multiply, that is 21 point times 87 over 100. So let's just that is 18 divided by 1. Option number 1 is the correct option, that is 18 by 5. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is 32.5% of 68? 31.5%. So that is n over 68, because we need to calculate the part of 68. How much part? 32.5%, right? So let's just solve it for it. And that is 32.5 times 68 over 100. So which is the correct option. That is 22.5 option, but it is the correct option. 22.5 is option is not correct option. What is 12.5% of cement? 12.5 of cement, right? So that is, and some 2 equals 1.5 over number. N equals 12.5 times 7 divided by 100. So let's just look at 9 is the correct option is 9 option number 2 is the correct option. Complete the following screen, write your answer in the rest. 68.8% of 18, so let's just do calculations. That is n divided by 8 equals 68.8 divided by 100. So n equals 68.8 times 18 divided by 1. So which is the correct option. So 68.8 times 18, that is 1,213.5. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 12.8. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is 15 whole 17 or 25% of 80? So 17 over 25. Let's just decimate 15, 17, 25. 25 times 4 is 100, so multiply by 5. Because when we can work decimal, right? So 17 times 4 is 68. Yes, that is 18 whole 68 over 100. Now we can express 15.6. Got it? Press 0. So we have n over 83. That equals 15.68 over 100. So n equals 83 times 18 times 68 divided by 100. So which is the correct option? 83 times 18.68. That is 13.0144. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 16.0144. Zero answer. Is 94.91% of 30, so which is the correct option. So that is n over 30 equals 94.91. N equals 94.91 times 30 over 100. So 94.91 times 30, that is 28.444 option number. No, 28.47, the option number. One is the two is the correct. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself and make it a just another master. Or find what percent of one member involved another. Okay. 14 is 1% of 56. So you are given the part. 15 is the whole number. 14 is the part of that whole number. We have to calculate what part it is, right? So that is 14 over 56 equals n over 100. We need to calculate n. So just do calculation for n, that equals 25. Let's just try to make it. What percent of 33 equals 32? So that is 100%, right? Option number three is the correct. 14 is 1% of 56. 56 is the whole number and 14 is the part, right? That is 14 over 56 equals n over 100. We have to calculate 14 is 1% of 56, right? So n equals 14 times 100 over 56. Let's just do the calculation. Right? That is 14 times 100 divided by 56. That is 25%. So that means 14 is 25% of 56. That is 25%. What percent of 20 equals 50? 20 is the whole number, 15 is the part, right? That is 15 over 20 equals n over 100. So n equals 15 times 100 over 20. So which is the correct option? That is 15 times 100 divided by 20, 75%. The correct option is 75%. What percent of 28 equals 14? 14 is exactly half of 20. That is 50%. Option is the correct option. $4 is what percent of $8? So which is the correct option? That is 50%. Option number B is the correct option. What percent of 18 equals 80? Which is the correct option? $100 of 80 is 80. Option number one is the correct option. What percent of 4 equals 1? So which is the correct option? So, what's the whole number that is 1 by 4 equals 100. So, n equals 100 over 4, n equals 25%. After that, is equal to that is 25% rational balance. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to the next lesson. That is percent swap numbers. What that episode is just started with this. Let's just start with the test questions. The outback had an election to select a president. 95% of the floor members were together in the election. How many members voted? 75% of the floor members, right? So n divided by 4 equals 75. N equals 75 times 4 over 100. That is 300 divided by 100 option by 1 is the correct option is always. At the company meeting, there were 30 people in attendance, 30% of them were managers. How many managers were in the meeting? So that is how many managers were involved. That is n divided by 30 equals, what is this? N divided by 30 equals 30 divided by 1. So n equals 30 times 30 divided by 100. So n equals 9. About approximately 9. That's the number of keys in the function. Option number three is the correct option. Okay, the next one is Nathan brought chocolate and Mila cupcakes to school for her birthday. 76 students decided to take a cupcake and 25% of them picked vanilla. How many people picked a vanilla cupcake? 76 cupcakes. 25% of them picked vanilla. How much was 7 n over 76 equals 2500. So n equals 25 times 76 so that 25 times 76. That is 90. Option number please be correct. Option 9, please. That equals 19. Option number please be correct. Option. Wendy's trainer time sold 14 milkshakes last week. 80% of the milkshakes had whipped cream on top. How many milkshakes with whipped cream were sold? So which is the correct option? That is N of E equals E3 over 100. So which is the correct option? That is 32. Option number one is the correct option. Newstown voted on a green speed limit. 90% of the 50 votes were in favor of the green speed limit. How many votes were in favor? So which is the correct option? That is 45 option number three will be the correct option. Okay, we can complete the lesson by yourself the motivation. So we working on the six math. Chapter we're working on is persons. The lessons we have covered today are convert between percent, fractions, and decimals. Percents of numbers with fractional and decimal percents. Find what percent one number is of another. Percents of a number, word problems. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lesson. That is your homework until session. So if you need more help with any of the lessons, join for your tutors are available to help you. Or I can you can write down the question on the side. Right? I'm here to answer all your questions and confusion if you have. So any questions? No questions? Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye everyone.